Hey y'all, welcome back. It was time for another video. I've been trying to do weekly videos and I was like, what the heck am I gonna shoot a video on today? Tyler was like, just take them through a day in the life. So I guess that's what I'm gonna do. So welcome to a day in the life. This is a day in the life when I'm at home and I'm able to do some things around the house and on the farm. You know, I mentioned before, I am a nurse, so I work outside the home. I work part-time, 2 days a week usually. This week, actually, I'm working 3 days a week just to help out a little extra at the hospital. Tyler is a fireman. He also does some bush hogging on the side as like a little side gig on his days off. So we certainly have jobs outside of the home. Oh, and I'm a group fitness instructor, so I teach at a local gym in town. I actually have to get to the gym this evening to teach a class, so I'm trying to get some things done around here. So when we're not working at our outside jobs, I'm here at home on the farm trying to get some things done, and so that's what we're doing today. Like I said, I work an extra day at the hospital this week. I'm teaching 4 classes at the gym this week, so I feel like I just haven't had a lot of time to focus on things around here, but today I've got a few hours to get some things done. Thought I'd take y'all with me and just show you what I'm doing today. Tyler and I celebrated our 13-year wedding anniversary last week? No, Monday, because I worked on our anniversary, but this was my anniversary gift from him, was this big straw hat. So I'm testing it out today. So far I think it's a fit. I think it fits me well. I did my very first tunnel harvest earlier in the week, and I was able to harvest about 35 pounds of cucumbers. Side note was I was also able to sell them all, which was really awesome. But I learned real quick that when I have a harvesting day, I better not do it by foot, because it was a trek to carry 35 pounds of cucumbers from here all the way back to the house. Back there, my biceps were killing me by the end of it. So I've learned that on days that I harvest, I need to drive the car out here. So lesson learned. So one of the things I'm kind of in the process of learning as I'm, trying to build this market garden business and I'm working for myself, learning that, it can be a bit overwhelming because there's nobody to tell me what to do. It's all up to me what gets done every day. So something that I found that's helpful for me is to kind of have this mental checklist the night before, or even a couple of days before, and think, okay, these are the tasks I'm going to get done today. This is what's on my list. And, sometimes it doesn't always get done, or sometimes I'm able to get more done than I intended. But if I start the day not having kind of that mental checklist, I feel like I wind up kind of putting my hand in all these different areas throughout the day, and I do a lot of little things, but I never actually accomplish anything well, if that makes sense. So that's one thing that I've learned. If you're in the process of kind of starting your own business, or you're doing market gardening or whatever, if you're like me, I would definitely suggest having that mental checklist before the day starts, so you know what you're doing. So I don't actually have just a whole lot of time today, so I feel like my checklist is a little small. Tyler and I had some things to do in town this morning, and then, like I said, I got to go teach a class this evening, and then we actually have Vacation Bible School after that. So I don't have just a whole lot of time today. So on my checklist today is to come out here, get these cucumbers trellised up. They're starting to get a little wild again, so they need to be pruned and trellised. So I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to go through and harvest some of these cucumbers too. They are just out of control. Like I said, I harvest 35 pounds of cucumbers. Gosh, I think it was on Monday I harvested them, and they're already ready to be harvested again. They're also on the list today. I'll take you down towards the house later on, but Tyler's going to be down there. He is working on setting up a new area for our newest family member, if you will. I shared on Instagram, I guess it was last week, that we are getting pigs, and we are going to get them on Sunday. It is, I don't even know what today is. It's Thursday. It is Thursday. So the pigs are coming on Sunday. We're getting a couple of old spot heritage pigs, and then we're actually going to add, it's going to be a trio eventually, but one litter is yet to be born. So once that litter is born and the pigs are weaned, we'll grab another female from that litter. So we'll have a trio eventually of heritage old spot pigs. But Tyler is getting that area set up. We're going to do electric fencing for that area, and I'll show you. That obviously has to be done like soon if the pigs are coming Sunday. So that's something that was on our to-do list today as well. So the cucumbers are looking real good, but like I said, a lot of them need to be, you can see kind of in this area, they're not trellising up, so I need to go in and correct that. But gosh, they're just, I mean, so many cucumbers. So I'll go ahead and harvest those and try to get those sold. I will say that, you know, I harvested that 35 pounds of cucumbers, and quite honestly, I was not sure that I would be able to sell them direct to customer. You know, my plan is to sell, we're going to call it a Berkeley box, okay, because we're Berkeley Farms, so we're going to call it a Berkeley box, and it's basically just going to be almost like a CSA type box. However, it's not going to be, well, I have a video about it. I'll link it in the comments. So if you want to see what my plan is for selling my produce, go and watch that video. But for now, you know, things aren't quite ripening together. Like the tomatoes are almost there, but they're not quite there. The peppers are about kind of in par or on par with the tomatoes, but the cucumbers are already starting to pump out, and it's like I don't want to waste those. But I didn't really know, you know, how many people are going to want to buy just cucumbers. I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't buy a lot of cucumbers from, you know, when I shop at the store or wherever I buy my produce from. I don't buy a lot of cucumbers. We don't eat a lot of cucumbers. So I wasn't sure that I would be able to sell them direct to customer. I have about 2 or 3 different wholesalers kind of in my back pocket for that reason, because I don't want them to go to waste. If they go to waste, then I'm not making any money on them. But I harvested that 35 pounds. I posted it. I actually have a Facebook group with my gym girls in there, and then posted it on just my regular Facebook page, and people, they bought them. So I was able to sell all 35 pounds direct to customer. I will say that I put a post out there this morning about having more cucumbers ready. If you want to buy them, I'll be at the gym. Cost is this much, pick up this time. And so far I haven't had any bites on it, and that's okay. I'm not surprised by that. So what I will likely do with this harvest is reach out to some of these wholesalers and see if they want to buy at wholesale prices. And then hopefully in this next week or so, I'm going to have enough produce that is ripened between my tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers that I can actually sell in that Berkeley box plan. Here's the other thing I need to know. This is what I harvested my 35 pounds of cucumbers in. And this basket's really cute. I got it, Tyler and I went to Oregon last year. It was a really cool trip. But I bought this basket in Oregon. But it's just not gonna cut it anymore. It is not a market garden basket. So I need to know, what do you harvest in? You market gardeners that are more seasoned than me, what do you harvest in? Because this does not hold 35 pounds of cucumbers. I about busted the bottom out of it. Okay, cucumbers are officially pruned and trellised. I had a lot more pruning to do than I realized. They just grow so fast. But they are pruned and trellised, and I harvested a ton of cucumbers. I have a feeling I'm going to be reaching out to those wholesalers today to see if I can't sell to them. But check these out. Again, with my not sufficient marketing or harvesting basket, but got all those down here, all down here. These are all Piccolino slicing cucumbers, and they have just been putting out so many cucumbers. These here are the Excelsior pickling cucumbers. They've not been putting out quite as many, but they're really starting to come on now. We've got some down here as well. So that's quite a few. I'm gonna guess that's somewhere around 30-ish pounds, maybe more, of cucumbers, but they're looking good. And now we move on to the tomatoes. So when I tell people, or when people look at my Instagram, or I'm talking to people about, you know, growing food and farming and market gardening and all that, it's so funny because to them it's like this sweet little fairy tale, and sometimes it is. Sometimes it's really nice, but then the other 98% of the time you're out here in the almost 100-degree high tunnel, literally sweating yourself to death, harvesting cucumbers and running into nasty little spiders, and it's just really hard work. So it's almost funny to me when people are like, oh, that's so sweet, you grow food and you sell it. And I'm like, yeah, it's sweet, but it's also hard work. And if you grow food, you know what I'm talking about. Check these out. So I've got way more of these than I realized. This one for sure is ripe. These are good for picking though. These are Cherokee Purple. This one's good here. So these here, this is encouraging because this size is, okay, in the middle of that, my phone got too hot. That's how hot it is in here. My phone got too hot and it shut off. I'll show you what I've harvested. I left some of these tomatoes on the vine for now. I feel like tomorrow or the next day they'll be ready. But let me show you what I've harvested in the tunnel this morning. Well, let me turn you around. Okay, so we've got a ton of cucumbers here, slicing, pickling, and then there are some cucumbers in this basket as well. These are the Corbasi Peppers. They are a mild pepper. They have no heat to them. They're pretty good. You can actually let them stay on the vine longer and they'll turn a red color. But I actually think they have a good flavor at this stage. I've got some good sized bell peppers. I only got about 3 or 4 of these right now. But I went ahead and harvested those. Quite a few. I bet I got 3 or 4 pounds of these Cherokee Purples. And they're roughly all about this same size. They look really good. I'm pleased with that. I think that's good. I think that looks really good. And then some of these Brad's Atomic Grapes. You know, it's funny. I need to taste some of these. I've eaten a couple of them already, but I'm having a hard time knowing when to harvest these. This is the first year I've grown them. I'm having a hard time about knowing when to harvest them. So if you are familiar with this variety, give me an idea of when you know to harvest them. And then these Wild Boar Farms Blueberry Cherry Tomatoes. These are my favorite cherry tomato. I picked some of these a little early, and I'm just going to let them ripen off the vine. So I feel like as I was harvesting these, like obviously this one needs to ripen a little bit. I think what I'm going to do, it is Thursday, so I think on Saturday my plan is to have a handful of boxes, and I will advertise them to my gym girls, and I will bring them to the gym on Saturdays because we usually have a big gym crowd on Saturdays, and I think that will be a good start. It'll just be a handful of boxes, and then hopefully, I mean, these tomatoes are really starting to take off. The peppers are maybe a little bit behind the tomatoes, but hopefully this will get people pretty excited about boxes. Okay, I said I wasn't going to harvest and walk to and from the house, but here I am, harvesting and walking back to the house. I'm going to take these to the house. I couldn't bring all of them. Oh gosh. But I'll take these back to the house and then I'll bring the car out and get the rest of those cucumbers. This is pretty dang heavy right now though. I'm gonna go check on Tyler and see if he needs help. I've only got a few more hours, really like 2 more hours before I got to get to the gym. So another thing I need to do today is I went ahead early this morning and I harvested some zinnias and some basil, and I've been making little bouquets and selling those as well. So I've got a few girls that want some of those. So I harvested those, so I need to make the bouquets. So I'm going to do that real quick while I cool off, and then I'll check back in with y'all. It feels 1 million times better in the house. I just want to say, if you ain't got a man yet, get you a man. Put them off the floors for you. Because I just walked in the house and the floors were freshly mopped, and I was not expecting that. And that just made my whole day. So that's good. We have wanted pigs for a long, long time. Really, Tyler has. For years, really. We've talked about getting coonies. Anyways, we had talked about getting coonies for a long time, and just recently we're introduced to the Old Spot heritage breed, and so that's what we're going with for a couple different reasons. But we're just kind of learning as we go, and the breeders that we found are local to us, and they've been very helpful, and they're kind of talking us through the whole setup and just getting us started. So really what we've got, our plan is to rotationally graze them, which basically just means they're not going to stay on one piece of land for very long before they get moved to a new one. And we're going to be using electric fence. The cool thing about pigs is they don't need a high fence. It's only got to be like a couple feet or so off the ground, or from the ground. So that's what we're doing today, is getting that set up. We're making sure they have a good shaded area. Something that we learned is pigs don't sweat, and so they have to have plenty of shade. They have to have mud holes, while you see pigs wallowing in mud all the time, because they don't have a good way to cool down. So that's how they stay cool. I'm going to show you the area that we've picked. I'll turn you around here. It's this grown up grassy area here. It's got a lot of shade over here. How big of an area do you think it's going to be? 150 by 150 foot or so. They'll stay on this till they eat these weeds down, and we're going to let them root this ground a little bit. That's another thing. Tyler's in it for the meat. I'm in it for the land cultivation. Pigs, I'm learning, can be really good at cultivating new plots of land for gardening, if you use them right. On the flip side of that, if you leave them on an area of land for too long, they can really destroy it. So we're kind of learn as we go. This is one of the reasons we're putting them here, is because it's got a lot of shade, but also because if they do wind up disturbing this ground too much, it's not that big a deal because we don't really have plans for it right now. So yeah, we're gonna get started. Okay, about how long did that take us, Tyler?
20 minutes.
20 minutes later, and we have a fence pretty much. He's tying off the last little piece. We, of course, we're like just a few feet short, so we had to get a little section of wire to finish out the circuit here, but I'll turn you around and show you what we got. So we went with the 3 wires. The lowest wire, again, is, I don't know, 6 inches off the ground or so. It's a pretty big area for just 2 pigs to start out with. It goes all the way back there, and then you can see the wire here. So a big old rectangle there. This should hold them in. Something that we have learned is that you actually have to train the pig to the electric wire. The place we're getting them from has already trained theirs to electric. So, I feel fairly confident that they'll respond to the fence pretty well. I guess if you don't train them and they get shocked, they could potentially run through the fence as opposed to it backing them off. So these pigs have been trained to the electric, so that should work out pretty well. But yeah, 20 minutes of work is the shortest amount of time we have ever put a fence up, and I feel like we have put quite a few fences up. So yeah, super simple. We got a solar charger to charge this thing. Something to keep in mind though is that if you do solar, or at least the solar chargers we've bought, you actually have to charge them for a few days before they can work. So don't buy your solar charger and think that, you know, you're going to use it the day of, because that's not going to happen. So we went ahead and bought that today. It'll give it a few days to charge it up, and it should be good to go by the time we get the pigs. And something I failed to mention, this isn't really a video on how to put up electric, but if you are trying to put up electric, you got to make sure that you connect all 3 wires. And so they'll all be hot once you charge them up with a battery. But so far, we don't have them connected just yet, but that doesn't take any time to do. Okay, friends, it is about 2 o'clock here right now. It's the first time I've really sat down today. I'm going to package up these orders. I did get in contact with one of my wholesalers, Kim from Bell Urban Farm. She's awesome. She's going to buy my leftover cucumbers that I did not sell today. So that works out. I'm going to get rid of all this produce, all of these flowers, and I'll make a little profit today. So it works out. And that's kind of a day in the life. We were able to get cucumbers trellised, pruned, harvested. I got to harvest some tomatoes. Finally, I harvested some peppers. I'm going to kind of save those for Saturday and hopefully have some Berkeley boxes available on Saturday. I'm really excited about that. Getting some produce sold today, making some money today. And yeah, that's kind of, oh, and the pig fence, of course, we got that up in no time flat. The simplest fence we've ever put up. Somebody had told us, you know, raising pigs is pretty just stupid simple, and it's just so easy. And so far, it is panning out that way. So let's just hope that it stays that way. But yeah, I feel like we got a lot done today. We got a lot accomplished. Tyler's out getting his jobs done. I'm going to finish up here so I can get to the gym. And y'all, I mean, that's really all I have for you today. I wanted just to kind of share with you what it looked like here on the days that we are not at our real jobs. You know, we're still out here working on the farm when we're not at our real job. I hope to catch y'all next time. See ya. Bye.